Welcome to this episode of BomaChats. Today we are joined by Toby, who is the founder of Pamper Trap, a gifting startup in Nigeria. We're really excited to have her here to tell us a little about how she's delivering smiles and pleasant surprises to clients all over the world.
Cool. Thanks for joining us, Toby.
Thank you for having me, Jada and Charo. Thank you so much.
And you're speaking to us from Lagos, Nigeria now?
Lagos, Nigeria. Yes.
Okay. And are you Nigerian? Did you grow up in Nigeria? How long have you been in Lagos for?
So I grew up in Nigeria. I grew up in Lagos. I was born in Lagos. I've lived in Lagos all my life. But I did go to school for my MBA in Spain at IE Business School. And then I stayed for about a year and a half. So basically, I have lived away for about 3 years in total.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. And when did you do your MBA? Was that recently or was it a little while ago?
I started my MBA in April 2015. It was a full-time program. And that ended in April 2016. And then I started working with the IE development team, like business development, basically, but for education. So I got to work a lot on the continent. I never got to go to Mauritania, interestingly, but I spent a lot of time in South Africa, where we had a lot of students, a big alumni network. Love the Samson Sun. Prefer Cape Town, by the way. Yeah.
Hey.
Cool. And so, Toby, tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the Pamper Trap and how you got involved in starting the business.
Okay. So the Pamper Trap company is a gifting company here in Lagos, Nigeria. The backstory. So I finished in my MBA, stopped working in Spain in November 2017, and then moved back home. When I moved back home, I was looking for work for a while, got a few interviews. While I was waiting, a friend of mine who had a family business asked me to put together some gifts for their clients. It was an oil company. They had money to spend, but I was not confident in my skills, so I've never done anything like that before. It was like, I'm coming from finance. I'd done my CFA level 1. Like, this is a whole other world.
Wow.
Like, what are you guys talking about? So I said, you know what? You had the confidence to pitch me for this. I will try my best. So I went, did a bit of research, and put the packages together. The owner of the company, gave me feedback, and I went and I fixed it, got it right, and put it up on my Instagram stories. Some of my friends at the time saw it and then told their companies.
Wow.
And we ended up having about 4 corporate clients in the first year. And I think I would say that's kind of where it all started from. But of course, I don't know what you know about the gifting business, but it is predominantly a seasonal business. And so for people like me who cater to corporate clients, we tend to aim more for the seasonal periods. So Ramadan, Christmas. So we tend to be busy only like once or twice during the year. So we also had to find a way to pivot, find a way to change the business model in a way where I would feel like I was adding value to people constantly, because it's just something I love to do, as well as maintain that stream of revenue, ensure that we're constantly in the faces of our clients, in the minds of our clients, such that when that peak period comes around, we would still be top of mind for them. And so now we don't only do those extravagant, luxurious hampers. Now we're also doing gift items, branded gift swag bags. Like if a company just starts or they have new hires, we have packages that we like put together for them just to say, welcome to the company, or, thank you for the good work, stuff like that. Things to keep people motivated, create relationships, and also build upon those relationships.
Nice. That's a great origin story. That's
Definitely. So tell us, when you look at it and your business, your customers, what problems are you trying to solve for them? And why are you passionate about it? Why are you doing it?
So, very recently, I had to spend some time away from Nigeria, and I realized once again why I am doing what I'm doing. A lot of people outside the country, I'm sure you've heard a lot of Nigerians are moving to Canada, the UK, Ireland, Germany, everywhere. Where but a lot of people are leaving because of the state of things. And while you're outside the country, you've also left people back home here in Nigeria. Special days come along and you're not able to be part of those days for the obvious reason you're not around. You could have been physically present, but you can't be. What we're trying to solve, and is the biggest thing for us, is helping you to be present in a way. So we're able to send gifts to people that you have at home. There's also the trust factor. It's really difficult to trust in this era of scammers. But I like to put a face to the brand. I'm not going to take your money away. So you can trust me. And so people also tend to trust me more to make sure that I'm able to carry out those transactions. They also trust me to be more meticulous about it. I pride myself in that. Neatness. Sometimes other businesses who do it, they tend to, give you stuff that might already be expired in terms of perishables. There's that angle. So there's the trust factor. It's really big, and it's one of our proudest selling points. Then there's also the angle of you might not have a clue what to get for someone who has everything. And that's when the consultancy side comes in, because I'll work with you, speak with you, try to see, okay, what can we do to show your appreciation for that person that you think you can't do anything for. And it's always a hit. I'm really proud to say that. So yeah, that's kind of why we are still in business. A big motivating factor would be the smiles, the feedback. It just keeps me going. Whenever someone is like, I love what you did here. That's all I need to know. You don't need to tell me anything else. And I'm happy.
Toby, you said that trust is a key differentiator in terms of attracting clients. What has been your primary customer acquisition strategy? Like how do customers find out about you? You mentioned how you got started because of a social media post on Instagram. That was how your friends found out about you. But today, as you've reached a larger scale, how do corporations find out about your services, and what's been the best way to raise awareness of your brand?
Word of mouth is the strongest.
Okay.
And followed by trying to be present everywhere that is important to our selling. So we have a website, that's hampersandgifts.ng, Pamper Trap company. The Instagram page is very active. I believe we should have a post going up in about 2 hours, where we try to post Mondays to Saturdays. Based on that, we have a lot of shares. People share our posts. We try to stay top of trends, and based on that, we get clients. But once again, I have to emphasize word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth.
Got it. And it's probably the type of thing that's quite, I guess the term is sticky. Like as soon as you deliver your services once to a large corporate, you're their company, you're their person that they go to again and again and again. And so you need to make sure that you continue delivering that excellent service, so they don't have reason to look elsewhere.
So And even if they look anywhere, hopefully they come back and they were really disappointed with whatever they found. I'm kidding, but yeah, you're absolutely right. We try to always be very good and to always put ourselves in the mind of the recipient, because sometimes you have a company who's been with us for 4 years in a row, and they keep giving the same people. You always have to think, if I gave this person this amazing gift last year, what can I use to top that? And with that comes its own pressures, by the way. It's unreal. But it keeps me going because I know that I have to keep topping it every single time.
Wow.
Yeah, and to that, you mentioned something a little bit earlier around how do you get a gift for someone who has everything, and it brought up for me, like, in your consultancy, like, what's been the most interesting case you've worked on, or like gifting idea you've come up with working with one of your clients?
I would say there have been two. One was a vacation package, which was given to like an executive director, because once again, that person could have anything, right? And then the second one was a husband who wanted to give his wife a push gift. And so she was going to go back to work. And, we got talking. After consulting with him, we realized that she would want to work from home and do a bit of studying as well. So what we did was work with him to put together a new office space for her.
So you're doing travel planning and interior design on
It's unreal sometimes, but yeah, I mean, anything to get the job done. We have to ensure that at the end of the day, it's over and beyond what anything that person could have expected, basically.
Huh. And Toby, have you had to raise outside capital, or is the business one in which you're able to generate enough cash flow to keep the lights on without having to tap into capital markets at all?
It's been solely funded by me from day one.
Wow. That's impressive. Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
So you're only answering to yourself.
For now, I mean, earlier this year we had to have some strategic conversations. I do have advisors, people that I talk to about the business, and I was told to consider some outside funding so that we can grow faster. We are growing. We can grow faster, definitely. So it's definitely in the talks. We're talking about it.
Okay.
Cool. Interesting to hear that you had your strategic offsite or conversations. What would you say is your strategy as you think about growing the business and growing it faster?
I would say that we take it one day at a time, first of all. But for 2023, the goal is basically focus more on a certain side of the business, which is more corporate. Last year, we found that, yes, there's a really nice synergy between the individuals who order, like, lower value packages, like, say 30,000 naira. I don't know what that is in rand, say about $50, right? There's a nice synergy between them and the larger clients, in that sometimes you take on that kind of clients and then the person tells their company about you, and then you get a huge client, right? So what we've decided to do is make sure that this year we kind of streamline that process in such a way that we're able to take on more higher value clients. Of course, we have a nice little algorithm that we're going to use to get there, but that is the plan. We want to focus a bit more on the higher end clients because we find that it's basically what keeps the lights on.
And Toby, what will success look like for you? And it doesn't even need to be business related. What in 20 years time, 30 years time, what is your vision of success?
I would like to focus more on maybe work for this answer. Growing up, I saw a lot of gift shops, physical gift shops, places that we went to when we were smaller, and then maybe when they're like 10 years later, and then it'll be a nice old dusty shop in the corner holding the same old inventory. But I think for me, success would mean having a physical space in many locations, but remaining lean, because it is very easy to fall into the trap of brick and mortar, where you go and get a space, you're spending tons in rent, and it's not making sense on the foot. So if I have physical, just mini kiosks where people place orders all over the place. And by all over the place, let's say in like 10 years, we would be in like 3 African countries. I'm trying to be realistic. That would look like success to me on the work side. Family-wise, making time for my family would be amazing, especially during those holidays, because, well, I'm making everybody else happy. I don't have time to spend with my family during Christmas. So that would be amazing.
And Toby, I think maybe we need to just back up for a moment, because what is gifting culture in Nigeria? Is it unique? Is it something? Are gifts a big part of cultural practice?
Yeah.
And yeah, can you just
occasions.
give us a little bit of context about that?
I think every household started differently. Like growing up for me, my mom would give me a card on my birthday, and that would be it. That is my birthday. That's my birthday gift. That's my birthday everything. I can do whatever I want with it. I can keep it. I can fold it. I can take the glitter and rub it on my face. That's on me, right? But there are other households, maybe more affluent households, where they would give themselves gifts. They buy themselves branded things, designer things. So I would say it depends. But based on my knowledge, the commercial gifting, which is what I'm doing, like being somebody you go to and tell the person, take this to Mr. X or Mrs. X for me. That's my definition of commercial gifting in this sense, is relatively new. It's not something that's mature yet. And it's maybe like 7 years old. So it's new, relatively new. It's not part of our culture, not by default. A lot of people still, I would say maybe like the baby boomers, still prefer to go into a store because of that trust thing that I mentioned earlier, to pick up what they want. But the millennials, the Gen Zs, they are very okay with trusting someone on the internet to gift. So, like I said, it's still relatively new, and I hope what I'm saying kind of makes sense.
Yeah, thank you.
And you mentioned the barrier around trust to people like gifting and taking this up. What would you say are in some of the other barriers to success and getting to the scale that you're dreaming of?
The currency. The value of the currency crashing is a pain. And not just that, other economic factors that are not following in line. So if I could afford a gift of 30,000 naira today, I might not be able to afford that gift that is now priced at 45,000 naira tomorrow, because my salary has not increased, but the price of everything else around me is going up. Inflation rate is at 22%. It's ridiculous. So the economic factors are big. That's one of the biggest pain points that we're experiencing at the moment. Outside of that, importation, we import a lot of things. I would wish that a lot more Nigerian entrepreneurs can take their branding to a level where we can stand beside the brands that are placed on shelves at Selfridges and what's it called, John Fraser. Like, that's where I want us to get to. We have the product, we're willing to do the work, but there's just something about the branding that's just not speaking to that level of luxury that my brand would like to portray. And for that reason, every now and then I will find myself having to import a lot of things from all over the place just so I can meet up with the very high, luxurious appetites of my clients. And so every now and then when I find a local brand who is willing to meet up to those standards, I patronize them and I back them. I push that brand forward because I want them to succeed. If other brands can get to that point, I would be so happy because it would mean lower costs. I wouldn't have to import as much. And we're supporting local businesses. Like, it's a win-win-win.
And Toby, do you hold much inventory, or are you able to fulfill orders on demand without having to have that working capital inventory cost?
We hold some inventory, but because I'm such a fan of lean, I try to outsource a lot of the things that I do. So, for instance, I have my machine here that I use to do some personalization. But the raw material that I need for that, I have that indoors. However, there's some other things like perishables. I try to hold very minimal when it comes to perishables because they're perishable, right? And that could always be an issue. But outside of that, if there's anything else that I need to procure, it can always be done in the space of 24 hours. A lot of businesses are really trying to fulfill faster. So it's easier to procure within the city.
When you mentioned how you are trying to use local suppliers as much as you can and to cultivate them, do you offer kind of special terms to them in terms of you're providing advance payment for goods to help them with their working capital requirements, whereas other more established vendors, they might have payment terms of 30 days. You are willing to offer payment terms right away in advance for local supplier. Like, what type of activity do you do to try to support the local businesses that you cited?
Local businesses that are, in my words, serious, that I would patronize, one cash down. It has to happen right now or you're not getting the goods. So all those beautiful accounting terms and, accounts receivables and stuff, no, it just doesn't work.
Okay.
The trust factor is such a big deal. It's such a big deal. But it's interesting that on my end, as a supplier to my clients, they give me terms.
Okay.
Where they might not pay everything up front, but I also have to, you understand what I'm trying to say. So that's how the system is. You want the job, you want the money, you chase it. But with my smaller suppliers, there's also still that trust factor where they don't believe yet that they can offer terms to me that will be favorable to my business.
Got it. So you always need to have a little bit of a cash arsenal to cover that gap between when you get paid and when you're paying the suppliers who provide you with the goods that you're going to be delivering.
Yes.
Okay. Well, interesting.
And Toby, tell us, how do you think about scaling, or do you see this as a really nice niche lifestyle business?
Like I said, I want to scale. I definitely want to scale. Okay. At the moment, we're completely online. Hoping to go offline, but in the smallest way possible. Looking for strategic partners that are in line with what we're doing and that support what we're doing, such that we can have people who take on orders and show off what we can do at their locations. I'm not interested in having a huge plaza and being showy and all that. It's not really a necessary requirement for my brand. I'm just trying to ensure that we're as visible in as many places as possible that are in line with the kinds of clients that we're looking for. So in terms of growth, expansion, getting to offline, but in the most efficient way possible is kind of the next step for us.
Got it. And Toby, can you tell our listeners a little bit about the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure that you've created in terms of your shop front, your online shop front? What platform do you use? Your payments? How do you there's so much that goes into having a e-commerce storefront. So can you just tell our listeners about what's involved in that?
Yeah, of course. So I work with a local company called Terminal Africa. And so they have a site where I don't know what the base technology is. I know there's WordPress and the others, but it's not any of those. They actually have their own. So it might be safe to say it's called Terminal. Okay. And so the shopfront was built by them. The back end payments, it's done with Paystack and Flutterwave, if I'm correct. We also have Stripe, and there's another one. There's another on PayPal.
Okay.
Stripe and PayPal. So we have all of that working for us so that we can cater to our international clients as well. In terms of, did you ask me about something else I haven't covered on the platform side?
Okay. No, that cool.
Yeah, I think from my side, what I'd love to know, you described your journey growing up in Nigeria, going abroad to study, and then coming back and starting out as an entrepreneur. Looking back just a couple of years, or actually even just to entrepreneurs and youth out there, what wisdom or advice would you share with them or with your younger self around starting to build a business in your ecosystem?
Just don't discredit any opportunities you get. It can look like the silliest thing. It could look like it's not your forte. You have no business. I mean, I should have come back with a chip on my shoulder. I have an MBA. I was traveling the world. I could have done that, but I chose not to. And that's how we got where we are. So don't discredit any opportunity. It could really be the big thing that you never saw coming.
I love that. That's excellent. I really like that. And it's just to always have that flexibility to keep your eyes open, because otherwise you just have tunnel vision and you can't see the opportunities that might be in front of you.
I mean, I used to trade. I was a trader here in Nigeria. I traded for a financial institution. I traded the Naira. I was on the bonds desk, the treasury bills desk. I was a finance girl. You know, when I was working in Spain, I was in business development. It wasn't related at all to what I was asked to do. So for us to be where we are today, it's like how it doesn't match. But here we are.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. I think it's an exciting journey. And who knows, given that from a trading desk to business development, now an entrepreneur, who knows what's next?
Yeah.
World domination.
Toby, where can people find out more about you? Do you have Twitter, or do you have
Instagram?
An Instagram or a newsletter if people are curious?
Yes. A good place to start will be the website. You can try pampertrap.com or hampersandgifts.ng. That will lead you to our Instagram page, which is at the Pamper Trap. So that's instead of saying hamper with the H, it's the P instead of the H.
Mm-hmm.
So Pamper Trap. We also have another Instagram page called hamper_engine. I guess you can also find us on Facebook from there. Twitter is also the same thing, the Pamper Trap. My name is Adetobi. You can find me on Instagram as well, in case you want to find that information too.
Cool. Which social media platform do you have the most engagement on with your brands?
Instagram.
Is it Instagram? Okay.
Instagram.
Got it.
Instagram. Yeah. Instagram. And then I think the Google AdSense is doing wonders as well. But so the website is doing really well because of that.
And do you have someone who looks into like analytics to see where the source of all of your traffic is coming from and gives you reports, or is that something that you do for yourself?
Me.
Okay.
I look at the analytics. I'm very big on the analytics. I want to know who is coming to the website, what countries are looking at us, how long was this during, what are the eyeballs doing, how long are they on a particular product, they didn't check out why. I want to know everything. This is what kind of guides the decisions that we make every day. So I know, okay, this product is not doing so well. The placement here is not great. I mean, this is my, I wouldn't even call it a 9 to 5. This is my 9 to 9. I need to be on top of everything, So it's just the entrepreneurial life. We wear many hats, but where I find that I can outsource certain parts of the business and not compromise on quality, I have done that. And so when it comes to like looking at the metrics, I haven't quite found anyone locally who is really into that or really knows like what to look out for. So pending then, it will be me monitoring that.
And Toby, now I'm just curious, but have you, you said you dig into the analytics yourself. You're wanting to see the journey people take on your website, what they're clicking on, if they check out or if they leave something in their cart. Have you noticed anything that was leading to poor conversion? And you could very clearly see it, and then you made a small little change to how a product is described or the photo that a product has, and then all of a sudden like things started to work, and you got higher conversion and higher sales. Like, can you give us an example of something like that?
As you were speaking, like 3 just came to mind. So sometimes the way the website is built, it has different templates. We could have chosen a template in which the images are shown horizontally, and so because of that, it's taking up all of the screen, and it's not allowing the prose. By prose, I mean like the description of the product to show. Having someone have a look at that, for example, solved a huge problem at the beginning. Sometimes you think you uploaded an image, it's not clear, and you didn't know that. But you go back to like the front end, like you act like you're the customer, and you go and you check, and you're like, oh, this is not fair. So that's another point at which I noticed like it's solved a big problem. And finally, I noticed that if you don't give a customer a use case for a certain product, sometimes they're a little lost, or they completely ignore the product because they're like, what is this? I don't know what it is. Okay, moving on. And with the attention spans these days being so what they are, we constantly have to make sure that that ease of going through all of our platforms is always there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you actually have to remove the friction and guide sometimes the shopping experience for customers and suggestions. I imagine an element of discovery is also a really important piece around gifting, coming for new ideas, something different.
Yeah, constantly researching, constantly looking for what could make people's lives better. You want to give a gift that makes someone be like, oh wow, you just made my life better. I really know I needed that.
That was really, especially people who are working with customer experiences and in customer experiences, we love to get your perspective on what does a delightful customer experience look like, in your opinion. So where have you had one or delivered one with for one of your customers?
I mean, we always do. But I will say this one thing stands out with my particular target customer base. Discretion. Um, if you can, because the kind of people that I cater to, they like their privacy. Even if you're giving it to someone, they don't want it to be like loud, and they don't want the whole world to know that this is what's happening. Everything's all hush hush. Um, if you're able to deliver a package in a way that number one isn't over branded on our end, because of course I want to get the word out there, but there's also an extent to which you can brand everything and then it's not all about you. And then the receiver is wondering, I'm sorry, is this really from that person, or is this from you? If you get what I mean. Like, what if I put my logo on this and I put my logo on everything and then they can't find the name of the person sending the gift? That's one angle to explore. Another way will be not posting customer spaces when they receive stuff. They don't like it. They absolutely detest it. Like, when I first started, I know how many people got in my DMs and were like, can you please take that down? I don't like this, that. Like, it would move my business forward a little faster if people saw people's faces, right? But unfortunately, my customer base don't like it. So a good customer experience on their end will be, you are able to get this done without unnecessarily exposing me, my motives, my gifts, the value of it to the public. You know, for some people, it's a sensitive topic. And so that's always a good thing whenever we're able to maintain that discretion. Outside of that, people love it when we're able to deliver quickly. So we offer gifting in 6 hours, but of course there are terms and conditions. Yes, it's 6 hours. Yes. So when we have the goods, we're able to just ship it out real quick, no hassle. So even if you forgot it was this person's birthday, you remembered at 3 p.m., it would be as though you remembered all day and it was our fault that it got to you at 9 p.m. Like, we do offer that service as well. People love that.
Gotcha.
You have saved many relationships.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Toby. It was really wonderful chatting with you. We can't wait to see what you do with the Pamper Club.
Thank you, Jed. Thank you, Michelle.